Well, a very, very warm welcome from me to the QE2 this morning and to Westminster if you've travelled from afar. It's a beautiful morning here in London today, isn't it? So you're all very warmly welcome and thank you for being here with us at the 2025 School Business Professional Summit. My name is Charlie Lang. I'm one of the Deputy Directors at the DfE. I'm responsible for schools productivity here at the department. And it's really great to see so many of you here with us today. We have a full and we have what I hope will be a really valuable and informative day ahead for us all. You all know the government invests over £60 billion each year into our school system. To put that in context, that's the same as the GDP of Estonia and Moldova combined. Or if you wanted to do it in cups of hot chocolate, it would fill over 18,000 Olympic-sized swimming pools. In short, it's an extraordinary amount of public money. And your role as stewards of those resources reflects the significant role you play within the education system each year, ensuring that that £60 billion is being used to best effect for 9 million children within the 24,000 schools in the education system. So school business professionals, that is a tremendous responsibility, which I know comes with significant challenges, but should also come with tremendous pride. Because without your expertise and dedication, our schools could not simply maintain the high standards of excellence that we all aim for. So thank you. Thank you for all you do day in, day out to get the maximum value for every pound and always seeking to find efficiencies where there is scope to do so to ensure millions of pupils across the country have every opportunity to thrive. We don't get to say it enough to you. Thank you. Today, we have an excellent number of speakers from across the sector, including from schools and academy trusts, school resource management advisors, and of course, colleagues from the DfE more broadly. You'll see on the screen behind me the agenda for the day. You've each had a chance to sign up for the sessions. That will be of most interest to yourself. Each of your timetables on the back of your pass reminds you of what you've selected for the day. Throughout the department sessions today, we'll hear more about the wide range of existing and indeed new services available to you and how those can support you to get best value, as well as a range of sessions from our sponsors, which I encourage you all to engage with. The DfE sessions will include a panel session later this morning with senior officials, all ready to go on my right, chaired by Stephen Morales, who's the CEO of the Institute of School Business Leadership. We then have a session on integrated curriculum and financial planning, where Andy Hamilton will be discussing how effective planning can help schools achieve better outcomes, aligning curriculum delivery and financial sustainability. We're excited to be talking about new productivity initiatives for 25-26, including the DfE's new energy contracts. And these new contracts will aim to help schools and trusts make substantial savings, so please do take advantage of them. We'll hear from Peter Tompkins on the importance of using an evidence-based approach when making financial decisions and how the department's financial benchmarking insights tool can support you to do so. And we've got sessions on digital technology and AI in schools, ensuring you have the right information security and demonstrating how our cyber assessment toolkit can help you. The DfE Connect service will demonstrate our plan to bring all digital services under one roof, making it far simpler for schools to engage with DfE and get access to those services and information that you need quickly. Plus, there's more on managing your school estates, the training and support available to you as professionals, a SEN workshop too, to explore resource management within that specialist sector. So I'm so grateful for everyone to giving up your valuable time today to share your experiences and knowledge with us all. There'll be plenty of opportunities for discussion, to share ideas, network, and ask questions. There are 3 stages we're going to be using throughout the day. The room we're in now is the Mountbatten stage, so all sessions with the label A next to it will be held in here. There will also be sessions running through across the Albert and Victoria rooms throughout the day, and those are located on the 2nd floor. So all B sessions are in Albert, and all sessions labelled C are in Victoria. There will be DfE officials and others who can help get you to the right place. I personally, as I know panel members are, really looking forward to meeting you throughout the course of the day, understand the challenges you're facing, and how we can support you further. So please do look out for us and speak to us as the day goes on, where we can support you further. But without further ado, to formally begin our day, I am delighted to introduce Susan Dawson. Susan is the Commercial Director at the Department for Education. She's also proud to be the government's head of place for the Yorkshire and Humber region, having lived and worked throughout her career in that region. And Susan was also the recipient of an OBE in this year's King's Honours. So please welcome Susan Dawson.
I had to have a box this morning because obviously I'm quite short. I was actually described as having a vertical distribution problem, which I don't think I've ever been called that before. So anyway, that was fun. So yes, good morning everyone. I'm Susan Dawson, Commercial Director at the Department for Education, and a couple of you that I've spoken to already this morning said, what does that mean? So I thought I'd just take a moment to kind of explain what that role is. And in DFE, we obviously do lots and lots of different deals for things like Teachers' Pension Service and Key Stage 2 testing and the like. You'll be pleased to know it's none of that. So my team are responsible for helping you guys deliver savings on your non-pay expenditure, which is at the moment around about £18 billion collectively across all schools. So things like the risk protection scheme we set up, get help buying for school service, and we, as Charlie said, looking at energy, which I'll talk a little bit about in a moment. It's a great pleasure to welcome you all to this summit today. Whether you're joining us in person or watching this virtually after today's event, I want to start by thanking you for taking the time to attend and engage with us. As DFE, we are acutely aware of the critical role that school business professionals play in the education system. My father was a head teacher and my mum was a school secretary. Growing up, I have really fond memories of flicking through the Yorkshire Purchasing Organisation catalogue in the school holidays with, I don't think she even had post-it notes then, but with writing down the order. And then when that arrived in the school holidays, I couldn't bear, it was so exciting to actually go in and unpack all those boxes and sort them into classroom sizes, all the textbooks and things, ready for the start of what was going to be a really exciting term for those students. Maybe this is what ended up the reason why I'm in education and also a role in buying, as my mum kind of ingrained that into me from a very early age. I also remember the time she used to spend in the summer writing out by hand all of the registers. But all of the complaints she had when that was computerised, I mean, how terrible. There was times where both of them were constantly at school meetings after school, governors' meetings, parent meetings, teacher and student nights and the like. And in the summer, the times when she'd be home late because she was cashing up thousands of pounds of coins from the school gala, which was obviously a big fundraiser for their school at the time. So I know things have changed and things have got harder, but I know that they were both really passionate and proud and committed to their jobs. And it's down to you guys here to acknowledge and celebrate the invaluable contribution that each of you makes, as my mum and dad did, in delivering things for your school. It's just brilliant. School business professionals often work behind the scenes, yet your work is invaluable, directly impacting the day-to-day operations of our schools. You are at the heart of managing the resources, financial, human and physical, that make it possible for schools and children to thrive. Whether it's budgeting, managing procurement, looking after the school estate, ensuring compliance, or leading on strategic financial planning, your roles are indispensable. In many ways, you are the unsung heroes, working tirelessly to ensure that schools have the resources they need to deliver high-quality education. And as we all know, managing resources in today's educational environment comes with increasing challenges. Rising costs, regulatory frameworks, and the need for efficiency are all issues that you have to navigate on a daily basis. Your work is fundamental to the success of every student, every teacher, and every school community. You ensure that resources are effectively allocated and that children have the right infrastructure to support their learning. Without your expertise and dedication, our schools would struggle to maintain the high standards of excellence that we strive for. The importance of your role cannot be overstated. You are not just ensuring the operational success of schools, you are shaping the future of education in this country. You help create environments where our children can access opportunities to thrive, where teachers can focus on their skills, and where families can feel confident that their children's education is supported by a strong, reliable system. So thank you from me for your hard work, your dedication, and the significant impact you have on the future of our children. It's an honour to be here so we can come together and share insights, exchange ideas, and explore ways we can continue to support schools in delivering the best possible for our children. And I think you all deserve a huge round of applause. So thank you. As we approach the new financial year, I'm pleased we've been able to confirm that the core schools budget will rise by £2.3 billion, meaning a real terms increase in school funding in 25-26. This increase reflects the government's ongoing commitment to ensuring that schools have the financial resources they need to succeed. While we know there is still much to be done, this is an important step forward in supporting our students and ultimately our schools. However, I recognise that financial challenges are being faced across the whole public sector as costs increase in many areas, and there is an expectation that we all need to drive better value from those existing budgets. If you take one message away from today, it is that schools are not alone in facing those issues, and we as the department are committed to supporting you. This is the purpose of today's summit, bringing together school leaders and business professionals from across the sector to explore opportunities to collectively get best value from our available resources, to help achieve this government's commitment of expanding opportunity for all. We want to use this platform today as an opportunity to hear from you, those at the front line, to learn how DFE can support you even further with some of the most important resource management issues facing you and your schools today. As Charlie mentioned earlier, throughout the day you will hear from senior officials, technical experts and your peers across the sector on a range of topics that are critical to the continued success of our schools. All these topics have the theme of productivity at their heart, getting the best value and impact from the resources that you have at your disposal. Today, we will be sharing some details on new productivity initiatives that can support schools in 25-26, on top of our existing £8 billion a year, which is more than the rest of central government put together. That's spent through a range of individual arrangements and a variety of arrangements. The department can use its leverage to secure improved deals on your behalf. We've recently tried this, running a pilot in which 400 schools participated, and they on average saved a third on their next energy contracts. We're excited to roll this out more widely in the summer, so all schools can access this deal when their contracts are up for renewal. We want to ensure that you have a really swift and easy process to be able to onboard to that contract. So we're developing a digital tool to be able to support you through that process. We would welcome you as volunteers to participate in testing that out for us between now and June, so that we can make sure that it's really fit for purpose and meets your needs. If you want to go and speak to my team, they're on the stand downstairs in the networking area for more information. Additionally, you'll learn more about the wider suite of existing support and how this can benefit you. These tools and services are designed to help you in key operational areas, such as ensuring your school has the right digital technology and are getting the best impact from management approaches such as integrated curriculum, financial planning. We also have our School Resource Management Advisor Programme. I know we have some SRMAs here in the audience today who will be sharing their expertise. Recently, the SRMAs visited 2 schools in Hackney, and as a result, they are set to save 1.5 million over the next 3 years. These savings can be reinvested back into frontline educational activities, ultimately improving outcomes for students. But today is also about providing a platform for you. We often hear that school business professionals feel isolated in their roles, and chances to meet other professionals are really valued. So I hope today provide you with an opportunity to network and connect with your peers, share best practice, and form new relationships that you can utilise when you return to schools. This is an invaluable space for collaboration, and I encourage you all to make the most of it. Looking further ahead, our ambition remains clear: to meet the government's opportunity mission, where every child, no matter their background or where they come from, can thrive. The mission is about ensuring that all children, regardless of their circumstances, are equipped with the skills, knowledge and opportunities to succeed in life. We understand that we can't achieve this vision without the continued collaboration of school business professionals like you. Together, we must continue to develop and refine the initiatives that will help schools meet the challenges of the coming years, all while maintaining high standards and ensuring that educational outcomes for pupils continue to improve. We are committed to working alongside you to develop innovative solutions, share best practice, and ultimately create an environment where every child can flourish. Your insights, your ideas, and your experience are essential in helping us reach that goal. To begin these conversations, we have 3 stands in the networking area where we are keen to hear from you, so please take the time to come and speak to officials. We will also have a post-event survey and our biannual school business professional survey in autumn, where your feedback is crucial in helping shape not only events, but the solutions that we want to be able to deliver for you too. I encourage you, if you haven't already, to join the School Business Professional Network within your region. We aim to turn all these valuable insights and feedback for you to provide us into meaningful outputs for you. Before I close, I want to thank all our sponsors and you all once again for your attendance today. We know how busy you are and really appreciate you taking the time to join us. The work you do is greatly valued, as is the passion you bring to your roles. It's only through our collective efforts that we can continue to improve the education system for the benefit of every child. I encourage you to enjoy the rest of the day, participate actively, build new relationships, and take full advantage of the opportunity to learn, share, and connect. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Susan. In a short moment or two, we will be having an opportunity for questions and answers of our panel, and we'll introduce our panel in a moment. Some of you had submitted questions in advance, and we should have some time for questions from the floor too. So we're looking forward to that discussion. But before that, I now want to introduce Will Jordan to you, the CEO of and co-founder of IMP Software. They're our lead sponsors for today for the event, so we're very grateful for that. Thank you so much. And Will is going to be talking about utilising our budgets to drive more effective financial management. Please welcome Will.
I was hoping the box would get left and I would be 6'9" immediately. Okay, morning everybody. So yeah, short one for me today. Yesterday we announced kind of a new product roadmap direction for IMP software, and today is another opportunity just to kind of talk through our vision around kind of how we think systems can be used differently within education, and primarily by putting the budget at the heart of the equation rather than a kind of peripheral piece. So before I do, I'll just introduce IMP very briefly. So IMP, if you're wondering, Integrated Map Platform. We provide a range of solutions that provide continuous reforecasting ability, that also does your budget planning, alongside integrated ICFP. So integrated, it's got 2 integrators in its name. And around it all is a reporting layer that means for all of our customers, we are their primary reporting solution for all of their kind of business and financial reporting. We are very, very lucky and fortunate to be in a business that hasn't yet been around 6 years. And me and my mate Dave co-founded IMP back in a hired room in a library in Devon in 2019. And since that point, we're really lucky now to be working with over 500 trusts and over 5,000 schools. And in January, we passed the 50% mark. So most multi-academy trusts now use IMP for all of their budgeting, forecasting and reporting. And there's 2 reasons for that. I'm not going to go into each of these, but ultimately we are obsessive around map finance. I know, I feel like I'm in a safe space, looking out of the room. We're obsessive about map finance and doing things kind of efficiently and effectively. And we also look after our customers. And don't take our word for it. Please have a look at Trustpilot reviews and IMP software to just get a sense of kind of the impact that we have for our customers. We also launched last year the first ever forward-looking benchmarking report. So all of our customers receive now a personalised forward-looking benchmarking report. We're enhancing it this year to add more school-level benchmarking and peer groups, and also looking at trust-level analysis around degrees of centralisation, degrees of gag pooling, and applying some of those qualitative lenses on top of some of the data piece we did last year. And we'd love to discuss any of that with any DFE colleagues that would be of interest. But introducing budget-led finance. So we have been banging on about budget-led finance for a couple of months now, but ultimately this has been the culmination of probably 3 years of nerdy conversations with many of you in this room around there's just some fundamental challenges around how we can make finance more effective across education. And the way we think that can be improved, we're doing it through our own product strategy, but ultimately, look, we hope all the providers, firstly, we hope it's a good idea and it works. And secondly, if it does, we hope all the other providers follow suit, because there's some real tangible benefits available for kind of education finance professionals. But ultimately, what is budget-led finance? Well, ultimately, it's putting the budget at the heart of things. So you spend weeks, if not months, working with stakeholders really, really hard to come up with a budget that strikes the right balance between kind of investing in strategic priorities and kind of opportunity areas, and also prudency and sustainable. Okay, that's a tough balance, and you spend lots of work and effort doing that. What then happens when you get to the beginning of the financial year? Yes, you whack it into your finance system, but also it takes a bit of a back seat, and the finance system takes over. Actuals drop in all over the place, and the connectivity between the two is kind of a once the job, pass the baton, and that feels like it introduces some unnecessary challenges. And ultimately, we think that should be a continuous iteration, and that budget that you spend all of that time on should lead the direction of financial processing. And when financial processing or when year-to-date actuals start to go awry from the budget, well, actually, the budget knows about that and the budget updates, so it's continually iterating and improving that forward-looking view. But at its core, so that's kind of the out there ambitious view for how things could work. But I'm just going to focus on kind of 3 pragmatic examples of where it could make quite a significant difference. So the first one, simple coding. And this sounds like a simple problem. Wouldn't it be nice if actuals always landed in the same place that the budget sat? Wouldn't that be lovely? We've all been there. We've got a drama department that is doing a production for Star Wars, and they need to buy some lightsabers. So they pick light and heat as the finance code. Okay, I thought that would get a better reaction given the audience. I thought niche joke, niche audience, it'll be a winner. Was it that bad? I'm sorry. But ultimately, how we think that can be changed is let's forget finance codes, cost centres, department, fund codes for non-finance users. It's difficult enough for finance people to get that consistently applied right. Why don't we offer budget holders their budget pots? Budget pots that they know and understand, the thing that they know are in their budget, that they know the description of and they know what it is, and all the coding is inherited from that selection. So they're not picking codes, they're picking their agreed budget pots with descriptions they understand, and then the budget sets the coding for the rest of the journey for actuals. Very simple, but it makes entry easier for non-finance users, and it also means you get that consistency out the other end when you finally get your actuals to compare for management accounting and forecasting purposes. Example number 2, budget holder clarity on available spend, reducing inadvertent overspending. There's never any deliberate overspending, obviously. But budget holders broadly, there's categories of budget holder, but broadly, budget holders want to know how much money can I go and spend on some widgets? That's what they want to know. And as finance professionals, you want to ensure that budget holders don't spend more than what they can on widgets or Amazon or whatever else. So the perennial problem is you've all got budget holder reports that say, right, hello, budget holder, you've got a budget of 12 grand. You've spent this much year to date. You've got authorised purchase orders of this. The difference is next to probably something that says left to spend. A lot of the reports in the sector say left to spend. Budget holder goes and spends the amount that says left to spend. And you go, oh, no. You can't actually spend all of that because some of that relates to some annual subscriptions that are coming out and they're not coming out for a couple of months. It's a really challenging problem. There is a way around it. You could create a purchase order for every single line in your budget. Doesn't feel the most effective way when we've already got every single line in our budget. So what can also be added is, well, let's have commitment as a budget item, not just a purchase order status. So we go through all of our budget lines with our budget holders, and these are committed and non-committed line items, meaning the budget holders know what they actually have left to spend when they take into account what they've spent, what's currently in flight, what's a committed budget. This is your widgets pot at the end of the day. I did say I was going geeky on this. Last up, okay, monitoring granular spend. Okay, so wouldn't it be great to be able to post actuals against individual budget items, not nominal code department combinations? Okay, when we're doing management accounts, monitoring, forecasting, whatever you call it, broadly your actuals are going to be aggregated at nominal code cost center combination. But within any of those combinations, let's take premises as an example. You might have lots of different things. You might have SLAs, you might have grass cutting, fence painting, terrible examples. Lots of different things that make up a fairly substantial budget. You're halfway through the year. We can see, right, we're halfway through our year. We've got 30 grand budget. Yeah, we're about 16 grand in. Are we going to come back to 30 grand? Well, the way to really understand that is you need to drill into every single actual and to drill into every single budget line, understand how much progress you've made against each of those budget lines. And I know many of you will be doing it, but it's a massive faff. Or it's too much of a faff, and therefore it's, okay, yeah, we're broadly on track. Yes, we're going to come back to 30 grand. But if actuals could be allocated at the budget item level, not just that budget code combination, you can then see, well, on our general grounds maintenance, we're going to be over by X. Yep, we're online for the LA support package. This has completely blown itself, and we're not even spending this. And what about these two contracts that we forgot about at budget setting time? These are in, and I need to add them into the forecast, and also next year's forecast as we go. You're all doing that in spreadsheets, in your head, on fag packets. Our marketing team, so I'm not allowed to say fag packets anymore. Sorry, marketing team, if you're watching. But ultimately, when you actually go down to that level, you then find out, okay, well, look, we're going to be 6.5 grand off at the end of the year, not broadly on track, which is just where you have to be when you've got lots of these lines. And that approach to detailed forecasting can add some real value, both in terms of understanding where you are year to date, but also shaping that better budget going forward, because when actuals come in that don't fit things you have in your budget, you're addressing it at that point of entry, and it's improving your forecast, it's improving your budget, and it's that continuous improvement dream of actuals kind of shaping budgets. And you're not going to do that for every area in your budget. There are some areas in your budget that are much more kind of risk-based and kind of likely to go awry than others. But for those areas that do matter, having that as a default option just feels like a way that can really change things. So we're showing off our foray into this space on the 6th of March. Please scan and join the webinar if you can. We will be talking about it a little bit on social media, and you might get the odd email, so no rush if you can't. But thank you very much for listening. I hope that's just useful insight into what we're doing, and I hope you have a wonderful day.
Great, thank you, Will. We're going to move into our final session before our first break of the day, and a chance to speak and connect with each other in the network area and speak to people on the stands, and there'll be refreshments served. So we're going to have a panel now and Q&A session with senior DfE officials exploring the current and challenges facing the sector. I'm pleased to say that ISBL CEO Stephen Morales is chairing us this morning. Please give your warm welcome to Stephen and the panel.
Thank you, Charlie. Delighted to be joined by, as Charlie said, this esteemed panel of senior DfE officials that includes Susan Dawson, who spoke just a moment ago, Director for Commercial Sector and Commercial Operations, Tom Goldman, Head of the Funding Policy Unit, Gavin Davies, Deputy Director for Schools Financial Support and Oversight, and Nabil Ali, Deputy Director for the Teaching Workforce Strategy. So welcome, colleagues. Thank you very much for joining us today. We're going to start with a series of questions, and they're questions that aren't our questions. They're not choreographed. They are your questions, unfiltered. And we hope towards the end of the session to move to Q&A, asking some questions from the floor, but we'll see how we go for time. We've just got under an hour to get through the questions that you put forward in advance of the event. But I think the thing to have in your minds is that this is a very unique opportunity to hear from those at the centre of shaping policy. So I think, one, you're going to have some privileged insights, but also think about what questions you might want to ask if there's time towards the end. So the first question I have, I'm going to direct at Tom, if I may. I'll read this verbatim. As I say, we're not trying to filter what came through. So the question that came from a colleague, a delegate, was, whilst public sector funding is in a period of real challenge, the key difficulty for school finance professionals is funding versus cost certainty. The colleague goes on to say, I don't expect anyone to tell me what the funding commitments are going to be in percentage terms. However, can we confirm that the commitment of government is to ensure school funding stays at least flat in real terms?
Thanks very much, Stephen. Few directions I want to kind of come at that question with. The simple answer, but I will go beyond that, is currently having discussions with Treasury for the current spending review. You can judge how well they're going so far by my physical state. But the fight goes on, and the fight will go on until...
Well done, Tom.
I fell into a lamppost.
But you were pushed by Treasury.
Yeah, not by Treasury, no. The spending review concludes, will be announced on the 11th of June, and we'll get budgets for the next three the financial years from 26/7 27.8 and 28.9 there. It'll be the first time for a while we've actually had that kind of 3-year time horizon of budgets for us, and that will be really helpful in terms of giving a greater kind of feeling of certainty about what the budget is going forward. You are not going to be surprised. I'm not going to sit here and say I know what the answer to that spending review is going to be. We will obviously be putting the strongest case we can for the importance of good funding settlement for schools in it. However, 11th of June, that will be a national picture. And it's worth saying that since about 2019, every year the core schools budget has risen by at least real terms per pupil in recent years, if you judge it against general measures of inflation. So one of the real factors here is, but what is the actual inflation that individual schools will face? It's not just sort of the CPI or the GDP deflator, and please don't ask me exactly what the GDP deflator is because I don't know, but it is the measure of inflation that Treasury prefer. You know, what will the pay settlements be going forward? What are the other pressures that schools are facing are all really important. And also, there's the fact that if we have a national percentage increase of whatever it may be coming out of the spending review, that will not translate for every school in the country to that percentage increase. Some will get more, some will get less. So we are going to be thinking about what we can do to better break down that big national total once we have it, to give you a better feeling of the shape of kind of funding coming in that you're likely to see going forward. I have to say that does lead us in a tension. The more certainty we can give going forward, frankly, the less accurate to need we will end up being by the end of the period, because we don't have a crystal ball. We don't know what's going to be happening precisely come 28, 29, and we certainly don't know what's going to be happening school by school in the country by 28, 29. So we will be looking at what more we can do to give certainty in that sphere, but there are limits, and I kind of have a slight warning of going to be careful exactly what you wish for. You're not going to want us to give you certainty when you could have got something more if your circumstances change and could have been taken into account. The last thing I do want to say on this, though, is to note, I think it is an important thing to kind of have in mind here, the evidence that went to the School Teachers Review Body back just before the end of the year, where it was said in terms that this government in 2025 is expecting efficiency, productivity gains from most schools in order to ensure that the pay award that the government suggested to the review body, what the pay award will come at the end of the process, but the suggestion that the government made, efficiency, productivity gains are expected to help pay for that. That is not something that had happened in years previously. And I think it probably is a bit of a sign of the expectations that will come going forward. So, as I say, a few directions coming to that question.
So, thanks very much, Tom. So moving the questions in a slightly different direction, this colleague asks about the language of structure agnostic and suggests that this is causing some confusion and uncertainty across the system, and could the panel help clarify what this really means? And Gavin, I'd like to turn to you for that question, if possible.
Sure, yeah. And I mean, colleagues might have seen the Secretary of State's speech on Monday, the Centre of Social Justice. And if colleagues haven't had a chance to look at that or read the text, I think that's a really important speech in this space, because it sets out the Secretary of State's vision for the future of school accountability. And there are two consultations running, launched on Monday, one on accountability of schools run by the department, and another by Ofsted on future inspection. And the Secretary of State was clear, actually, that, academy trusts have played a really important role in school reform. They're a really valuable group of organisations, and we see this every day. Equally, I think what ministers are saying since they've joined government is actually, let's look at the whole school system, let's look at the excellence that we see across the school system. This group of people is obviously a really key group that we see that. We see excellent practice of our school business professionals throughout every school. But in terms of academy trusts and the future of academy trusts, the consultation that's been launched has in it that actually there will be a route through where schools are judged to be in special measures through to an academy trust. So that will continue.
Thank you, Kevin. Really helpful. Tom, I'm going to come back to you on a funding question. This is focused on high needs. So the question is, for years now, actual costs seen by establishments have exceeded funding when supporting children with significant need. How does this change before there is simply no money left to welcome these children into our schools and do the best possible job for them? That's a big question.
Indeed. I think this is one of the biggest questions we are currently facing, the situation in terms of special educational needs. I did the quick sum yesterday for another purpose. Last 6 years, the amount of money that's been going towards high needs budgets has risen by 80% in 6 years. Nonetheless, local authorities are spending more than they are being provided with for high needs budgets. Nonetheless, schools are feeling squeezed, that they're not getting the support that they need to provide for their children with special educational needs. And nonetheless, the results for children with special educational needs are not improving as they should be. The experiences they're having, the happiness with the system from children and parents is far from what it ought to be. It is a system which is just not working as we want it to be at the moment. It's also quite telling, I think, that while there is some clear international trends of more children coming forward with what we call special educational needs in this country, obviously very different systems in other countries, there are more, but the increases in numbers, particularly sort of at the most acute end, that we've, the education, health and care plans in England, that's not being seen internationally. And even and by internationally, I mean as close to home as Wales has not been seeing the same extent of increases in demand. And I think it's clear that the system that has been set up since about 2013 had all the best intentions in the world, but it has ended up creating a system whereby the incentives and the focus are all going at the kind of critical, once a problem is deeply established, once it is really difficult to do something about it, once it's really expensive to do something about it, and once where what you can do about it will probably be relatively limited, and that has reduced the time and resource and money that people can put into early intervention, early actions which can, if not eliminate problems, that is rarely going to be the answer, but can make them much less harmful to the children, much easier to support those children, give everyone much better outcomes. And we need to haul that system around. There's a lot of work being done in the department at the moment, with promised, it'll be kind of big, there'll be announcements coming later in the year, probably kind of tied around the spending review timetable. to seriously change the system there, because, as the question is effectively saying, the current system is unsustainable. It's not working for anybody, and we can't proceed in this way. But I say, probably come around to spending a few time, because one element of this will undoubtedly be the money. It can't be the only element, but obviously that will be important.
Thanks, Tom. And it's actually quite a nice segue into the next question, which I'm going to ask Gavin. And this is kind of the broader financial health and sustainability of schools. So the colleague that asked this question puts this question to the panel. How do we ensure financially vulnerable schools don't fail due to financial instability? And what indeed can we do to support them?
Yeah, thank you. I mean, this is a really good question, and I think there are two sides to this for us. I think the first side of this is improving capability and doing everything we can to make sure that you guys out there feel that you have the tools that you need to do the best possible job. So things like our bursary offer for level 7. Financial operational management qualification, which I should just give a quick promotion of, because the deadline's coming up very soon. I believe it's 10th of February, so do have a look at that. Google it if you think that you'd benefit, or your colleagues would benefit from a qualification, level 7 qualification. The department can offer up to 75% of the cost of that qualification. There's obviously eligibility criteria, but do have a look at that. The deadline's coming up very soon. The in-person workshops, local support offer that we're working with ISBL on is another key part of that. Our webinar offer. So there's a whole range of things, and obviously working alongside Susan and Charlie in their area, and all of the tools and guidance that's available for school business professionals. We recognise, though, that obviously that a lot of school business professionals will be making the most of those tools, perhaps feel that they're qualified enough, but actually still are facing really serious challenges. So I think that's where you come to the other side of our support, where it is very much practical, hands-on support with schools and academy trusts. If an academy trust is facing challenges, there's a route to get in touch with us directly to discuss. Obviously, local authorities will be the first port of call for local authority maintained schools. And there's a range of support that we can offer. School resource management advisors, Susan talked about some of the work there. This is a really great service, a great offer to really take a look at everything happening and give some expert advice to the school. It's absolutely free at source. The report is provided to the school. We have very tight controls over how that report is shared. It's the school's product. So that is a really good example of where we can offer some practical advice. If in the academy trust world, the situations, the cash flow challenges are so severe that even with the support of people like SRMAs, schools are facing challenges. We can, of course, consider more practical support, and that can sometimes be in the form of a repayable funding support and that kind of thing. Those sort of conversations would obviously be with our regional case teams. But yeah, I think there's a range of things we can do. I'm really keen in my division particularly of doing absolutely as much as we can. So if there's more that you're thinking we could do, particularly on the capability side, are there webinars or online events or in-person events that you think actually, we're really struggling with this particular issue, we'd really appreciate something done on this. Can we get some experts along? We're really happy to do that. We engage with HMRC on things like VAT registration, which I know is one of those really complex areas. So we're running kind of sessions on P11D and all these technical areas. If there's more we can do, please let us know. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Gavin. And again, the theme continues in this next question, which I'd like to put to Susan, if I may. Tom has already alluded to this as well. So in the recently published STRB evidence, the department stated that all schools will need to make efficiencies. Where does the department think more efficiencies can be made, and how are you going to work with the sector to help achieve these?
Good question. So the evidence is showing that there is still further savings that could be delivered, cashable and non-cashable, across the sector. There are some examples of this. You know, we talked earlier about the savings that we're seeing coming through on the energy pilot. We know from implementing, for example, the risk protection scheme, we were funding at £48 per pupil. I think we're now down to £27 per pupil on that. We've got really good uptake on some of the services. You know, there's a lot of interest in the deals that we're putting in place. We had a case study a bit ago actually, but it still stands in that the variance per pupil that you're spending on some of the non-pay activities is still quite significant in some areas. We've got loads of great networks now in place where you're sharing information more widely. But I recall we had schools within a 15-mile radius all dealing with the same supplier for the same products and services, all paying different rates and having different delivery days. And the kind of delivery footprint in terms of getting those out to yourselves in that radius was quite remarkable. And the profit levels were different that you were paying. You'd all contracted individually, and that drives additional cost. So there is the evidence there to suggest that. I know some of you are doing this absolutely brilliant. There's great examples of, you know, income generation, of really effective buying activity as well. I think there's something about, I could talk all day obviously about all the commercial stuff we could do, but I think as SRO of this programme, the one thing that I see that I don't think we as a department do particularly well is, you know, we cause some of that inefficiency out in the sector around the way that we engage with you and communicate with you. And, you know, I think we were looking recently, there's something like 9,000 pages of guidance that we expect you to be able to find those golden nuggets in terms of the information you need to actually work with us. We have, I don't know how many, was it 23 different CRM systems and different contact centres for not just you, but your parents as well to come and talk to us about. And I think there's something for us about really cleansing that and finding out what those real golden nuggets of truth are that you need to do your jobs effectively. And Hans is here today, and the digital team. And as we mentioned, you know, we're doing this work around DFE Connect, which will ultimately, the way I describe it is, it's like at the minute you're trying to book a holiday through difficult jet rather than easy jet, you know, and you're having to go to all these different places to interact with us. And actually DFE Connect in time will give you that one place to be able to come and get that information. So I know that's a little way away, but really happy again for you today to come and talk to us, you know, about where do you think we could help you more? What are the things we need to deliver for you to help with that efficiency? But, you know, there is the evidence still that through energy, we're seeing significant savings coming through. We've been running, as Gavin said, a lot of capability programmes and around commercial capability for the sector. So it's not always about us telling you how to do things, absolutely not. You know, where we can use our leverage to help you, then we will do. But we know that you're really good at your jobs in terms of managing your resources. You can do this and get our help to improve, say, how you manage your contracts. So once you've done a contract, then how do you drive the value out of it? How do you make sure that you're not, the costs are inflating over time? There's training programmes to be able to help you with that. We've also been running a procurement excellence programme. I don't know if anyone in the room's actually used that, but we've had a MAT recently that's applied that, looked at how a mature, you know, function in terms of you doing your buying would look like, and they've driven some really significant savings. So there are tools there to help you with that, but we do know that there's a real variance in terms of how much more you can drive and what that challenge looks like. One thing that I will say is, you know, we do offer these services to help you drive further efficiency. And one of the things that we're seeing recently through the Get Help Buying for Schools service that we offer is some of the big complex buys that you have to do around the likes of catering, you know, whether you're insourcing, outsourcing, that is complex. It's complex for commercial professionals. There's loads of TUPE implications to do with that stuff, you know. And again, it's kind of raising awareness that we can do that. We can run those procurements for you, you know, and take that pain away. So that helps you become more efficient, because actually we can, you know, take some of those headaches away in terms of those complex procurements as well. So the evidence is there. You know, there is still a big variance. But we've got the tools to be able to support you as well.
Thanks, Susan. We're going to take the conversation in a slightly different direction now, and I'd like to come to Nabil, if I may, and this is the subject of workforce recruitment and retention. And the question that's been posed here is, there are significant challenges of retaining and recruiting not only skilled teachers, but also SBPs into the sector. What is the department doing to ensure the system remains stable in this regard?
First thing I want to kick off with is just recognise, I think we all recognise in this room and DFE, that there is a recruitment retention challenge among business professionals and support staff. I mean, that's well recognised. I think there's no argument there. But one thing I will say is it's a real priority of the current government. I think, you know, it was the first week. I briefed the Secretary of State on the first week. And one of the things she commented was my title of my job was wrong, and I should fix that. I still haven't, but I probably should. But I think the biggest reflection of how much of a priority it is how quickly, I mean, elections were in July, and within October, we had introduced the school support staff negotiating body into the employment rights bill, and the process is still ongoing. But that's a very quick process for how government runs, and that was a clear sign of the priority. And the key thing I really want to bring out there is that it is a recruitment and retention priority, that we really, in fact, we're probably putting even more emphasis on retention, really want to make sure that this is not just a career that you want to work in schools, but you actually enjoy it, want to stay there, and can develop and have a career progression there. And that's the thing I want to kind of focus on, that actually the school support staff negotiating body isn't just about pay rates. I mean, that's the one that everyone discussed about, but actually what we are also asking them to do, or will ask them to do when they're formed, is come out with a terms and conditions handbook, and also advise us on career progression and learning and development. I mean, Gavin mentioned, for example, course available. We just want to make sure that we are getting that right, because retention is a key problem. We know that recruitment, of course, is incredibly important, but keeping both business personnel and support staff in schools is like, really, we want to see them as a place where they can stay and progress in their careers. So, as you know, the current aim is to make sure that that can provide us recommendations for the 26-27 academic year. Again, sometimes that feels quite long, but actually, again, the way we're doing things is actually quite fast. We're on 25, so this September will be 25-26 academic year. So bringing the year after is actually moving very, very quickly, and it's just a reflection of the priority that we're putting on this. But I'll stop there, and I'm sure that next year you'll have questions about the actual body itself. So that's when I'll take that next question.
Thank you, Nabil. There's actually a follow-up, a supplementary, if you like, to that question. And as I'm looking at it, we might need to unpack exactly what the question's getting at, but let's give it a go anyway. So the question is, what is the department doing to ensure teacher pay doesn't negatively impact recruitment and retention? I think the question's asking whether or not, if we don't pay teachers enough, then we won't be able to retain them and attract them into the profession. It could mean, I don't think it does, but it could mean if we don't manage teacher pay, then that puts enormous pressure on school business professionals, and therefore their recruitment and retention becomes challenging. But let's assume that the question is asking about paying teachers commensurate with their value so that we can retain and attract them. Let's go with that one. Yep. That's okay.
So we're a bit careful because it's an ongoing process, you know. The SDRB will make their recommendations in April, as Tom mentioned. the Secretary of State is giving evidence, as I say, is a hearing tomorrow with the body. But we did, of course, submit our written evidence in December, again, as Tom mentioned, and in there we did recommend a 2.8% pay award for 25-26. Now, as you will know more than anyone probably about, you put money in somewhere, you've got to take money away from somewhere else, and that's always Treasury's argument. Treasury always gives you numbers like, okay, if you implement the 2.8%, that would mean a 21% pay increase over 4 years. But I'm literally in charge of recruitment retention, so I care about competitiveness. So we're looking at all factors here. I mean, we have to approach it from different angles. We have to, I probably the thing I care about most is pay competitiveness. And keeping up with inflation at the same time. Again, I won't talk about what inflation measure we're using. We have lots of arguments for you on that. And I haven't pushed into lamppost just yet, maybe next week. But affordability as well. And affordability for you as well, that we're making an award that schools can afford. So all those factors came into play, and the best evidence we had at the time when we put that evidence forward in December. Like the process is ongoing. We will see what STRB come up with in April, and making our basic decisions based on that. But like I said, this really was taking quite a few factors into account. A key part of it was pay competitiveness, I assure you on that. That really was my focus quite a bit, and will continue being our focus. But the other factors we have to take into account as well. But yes, I won't say much more on that because it's an ongoing process, and we'll wait the STRB recommendation in April and make our decisions based on that.
Thanks, Nabil. Gavin, I'm going to turn to you to an extent. This is another workforce type question. How do we empower SBPs to speak truth to their senior leaders without personal without personal jeopardy, particularly in relation to financial sustainability and any associated risks?
So this is a real problem, isn't it? And it's a real challenge that school business professionals face. And I was at a regional event recently where colleagues were talking a little bit about this. You know, if you're trying to implement something like integrated curriculum and financial planning, you can only do that if you are integrated as a person with your educational colleagues, financial colleagues sitting around the same table. I don't think there's an easy kind of answer to this, but I think there are things that obviously we can support with. On a personal level, something I didn't mention earlier is our school business professional mentoring offer. And we do hear that this is really valuable. So this is where we link up school business professionals with an expert school business professional to have that mentoring relationship. And they are fairly long-term relationships and supportive relationships for these kinds of conversations. The best academy trusts that I've worked with over the last kind of decade or so, we do see this practice. We do see the chief finance officers, the school business professionals, in whatever form, around the table, linked in really closely with those conversations. So it's definitely something which we can say is a valuable and essential, actually, let's be honest, in the current climate thing to have. I think for us, when we're engaging academy trusts, when we're engaging local authorities, can we do more to kind of ourselves almost deliver those messages about the importance of the relationship. So I think there's definitely something there, so that actually we take a little bit of the weight off your shoulders in terms of having that difficult conversation and saying how are you engaging with your finance teams, how are you looking at the budget throughout the year, that kind of thing. But open to ideas if there's more colleagues think we could do to support on this. Really genuinely keen to hear that and take it on board.
Yeah, thank you, Gavin. And the supplementary to that was, I guess this is taking us down the route of regulation. The supplementary question was, should there be a requirement that specifies that business managers must be a member of the senior leadership team? This should also include commensurate pay for the for the role. I think very few colleagues in the room would disagree with the sentiment of that question.
Yeah, I mean, I think so. There's a natural hesitancy to put new requirements in. Something I was quite personally proud to be involved with over the last couple of years is our simplification drive when we were part of the Education Skills Funding Agency, and that of course continues now. Now me and my team are part of Regents Group. Reducing the size of the Academy Trust Handbook, trying to make life easier in whatever way we can. Things like related party transactions, which we'd heard time and time again were an absolute bane of many colleagues' existence. The amount of time spent, and obviously we changed the rules there. We didn't remove requirements completely, but we certainly reduced the volume quite substantially of transactions that would need approval and sight. So there is a natural kind of hesitancy because, would it be something that would be valuable? Would we be creating an additional kind of tick box that then, needs assurance of? But I do get the sentiment, and I think the sentiment is, as we've been talking about, is there something we can do to reinforce the value? I think having conversations and doing our bit there is a really strong tool in this, but open to ideas. Thanks.
Thank you very much. So we've come to the end of the questions that we received in advance of this discussion, but I think we've got 20 minutes to do some Q&A. I don't know, difficult to see actually. That's the problem. But yes, so I think here at the front.
Oh, there we go.
We can see you.
Ah, there we go.
There's people in front of us.
Yes, I just wanted to reiterate the importance of having the SBM, the business manager leader in schools, especially in federations, to be recognized for their roles and to sit on that SLT. I have not been able to do that for a number of years, and I feel that my role was completely detached from what the executive head teacher was deciding in terms of finance. And to be completely truthful, and I'm going to say, they're not the best clever clocks in the pot when it comes to finance. And I think that needs to be recognized because applying the ICPF is the best tool that you can do, and the teacher needs to recognize that and to understand why that is applied. Thank you.
No, thank you. Does anybody on the panel particularly want to? Does anybody in the panel want to respond to that?
Well, I was just going to echo, your point. I think it's a really important one. There is a very basic point about valuing the role, isn't there? Which we're really, trying to do. It's such an integral role. You bring a fantastic amount of expertise. So yeah, let's use this community to kind of really acknowledge that.
Yeah. Anybody else on the panel want to comment on that? I mean, that I yeah. I mean, I've been a strong advocate for a joined-up approach to leadership, and absolutely, school business professional need to be at the top table having those discussions. And actually, if we don't triangulate business governance and pedagogy, then we're going nowhere in a hurry. I think we're all on the same page in that regard. Sorry, Benedict.
A question for Tom, and thank you for your fight against the Treasury. No, it's more about post-16 is often forgotten, and there is a big skills agenda, and the post-16 funding has been cut by like 23% in real terms in the last 14 years. So what is being done on the post-16 funding landscape?
I'm going to say, of course, I'm not personally in charge of post-16 funding, which you can make your own judgments as to why it's not done so well with Treasury, perhaps, as a result. That's an entirely unreasonable thing for me to have said and entirely untrue. That disparity that we've seen between sort of 5 to 16 schools and post-16 funding is well understood, and there's a real priority in trying to push that agenda. I mean, there's obviously a skills agenda. It fits in well with the government's missions. If they want more growth in the country, we're going to need some people who have been trained to do that. So I think there's a real opportunity for the department to be pushing hard on the post-16 agenda with Treasury. And I know that they are, not me personally, but that is definitely happening. But again, we will see how the spending review comes out, because I don't want anyone to come out of this. The department will be fighting as well as it can for this, but it is clear that there are real pressures across the public finances, and Treasury do not look like they are sitting on bags of money that they're intending to hand out to people. To kind of pull it back a little bit more to some discussions here, the stronger story the department is able to present to the Treasury about the productivity that we can get out of the money that we get from Treasury, frankly, the more likely we are to get money from Treasury in the first place. So it all comes together there in our attempts to secure the right settlement across education. But yes, that disparity between what's happened between mainstream 5 to 16 schools and post-16 education is very much in the forefront of officials and indeed ministers' minds.
Thank you, Tom. There's a gentleman at the back, I think. Well, there's actually a few. Sorry. We'll come to you in a second.
Thank you. Slightly two-part question. Number one, are we getting a national insurance grant from April? And number two, we're talking about competitive pay. How do we ensure that competitive pay reflects the fact that the overall package, pension, sick pay, grade progression, etc., is considerably more generous than elements of the private sector? So perhaps actually what's required is some form of realignment.
Thanks. I think
I'll take part one.
I'll probably have to take
Nabil
part
will
two.
take part two.
Part one, yes. I'm hoping before the end of this month we will get that announcement out. There's a little bit of last-minute jiggery-pokery with the Treasury going on, but it should be sorted out very soon. And we are conscious that we need to let people know what their allocations will be, but there will definitely be a national insurance grant coming out. If anyone has a good name for it, other than Nick's grant, we are notoriously bad at coming up with names for grants, so do try and grab me after this to tell me what it should be called.
Thanks, Tom. Nabil.
I think Tom getting a clap for his answer makes me put more pressure on me. Mine won't be as clear-cut. We do obviously take the whole package into account. But thing my team personally look at the most is what impacts teachers' decisions and support staff decisions we're looking at. So we've got more data, I'll be honest, on teaching staff than we have on support staff, and we're trying to fix that with some surveys. And at the moment, out-and-out pay is coming in as the biggest factor. We're really trying to advertise the pensions offer quite a lot and really help people understand, especially graduates who seem to just don't care, if I'm totally honest, and make it a complete package and sell the whole package, and bring that up, make sure it's more recognized and more part of the decision-making process for people coming into schools, both, like I said, teachers and support staff and professionals. But at the moment, the honest answer is that the pay competitiveness, pay on its own, is the biggest factor we do look at in terms of making that decision, but that is bit by bit we're trying to change that.
Thanks, Nabil. I must come to this lady at the front first, and then we'll move around the room.
Thank you so much for taking my question. It's two-pronged. One is, I think, directed to Gavin, and the other one, definitely Tom. Super popular today. To Tom, it is towards the falling roles that London schools are particularly facing. We have quite a representation from Enfield here. Whoop, whoop. We are 10 school business leaders. So we have taken the time, particularly, to have the answer of how can we have the support for the gap? Because for no fault of ours, my particular school, we've lost from 3 form, we're down to 2 form. But then struggling with 3 form staffing structure. So overnight, we can't say bye-bye to those staff members. So we will need support there. That's question A. And question B is, I know Tom mentioned about how he fights with the Treasury for various grants. So can we look at any grants and financial support for tech for schools? Because we are really lacking. Windows 10 is not going to be supported any further past 25 September. So all schools have to move to Windows 11. That adds a huge pressure in supporting all our computers and upgrading it. And also, we do not have the kind of tech that schools should fundamentally have. It's tech dead, rather. So as a school, we piloted for the DFE research last year, and it's great that there's plenty of grants that hopefully come towards the tech support. But we would like to hear regarding the tech support grant, and if also regarding the falling role, please. Thank you.
I'll go first. So I've spent a period now defending the fact that our funding system works on a lagged basis during a period in which roles have been rising, and obviously schools with increasing in numbers, they have been saying, how can we cope with these extra pupils? I think the fact that we have a lagged funding system, the reason for that is because we're conscious that that would not always be the case, and I think so. One of the built-in buffers, I mean, it's obviously it's just a timing thing, but the lag in the built-in lag in the funding system will assist schools facing falling roles. As you rightly say, it is London at the moment. That is starting to happen in the rest of the country, and will do so increasingly, but London at the forefront. Help them, buys a little bit of time to think about what needs to be done. We recently changed the rules about what we still unfortunately call growth funding for local authorities, so that it can also be used to support schools with the impact of falling roles, where that is required, as it increasingly is. And we're looking more generally at what changes to the system, which has been developed over the last decade or so in a period of rising roles. Where does that not work when those roles are falling? I mean, ultimately, where roles are falling considerably, we need to see things like schools going from 3-form to 2-form entry and taking that through in terms of being staffed for a 2-form entry, obviously not where they were, or the system rather than the individual schools, the system will become increasingly inefficient, and that will effectively, if we allow that to happen, put a squeeze on every school's budget, because we'll be paying for places that we do not need. So again, in the forefront of our minds, there's a couple of things we've done. If people have other suggestions, do let me know. But ultimately, it can't be an answer which freezes in aspic a set of school places, which is just considerably more than the number of children we're facing, because Treasury won't give me more money to do that. And that is just a squeeze on everybody. And also, just before you answer on the tech grant, I'm going to say, I've been doing this job for quite a while now, and through that period, I have been arguing on the whole against specific grants for particular activities, because they get ring-fenced, and that reduces your freedom of manoeuvre with your budget. It also means a grant for X. Frankly, when it comes to discussions with Treasury, tends to be the sorts of things that Treasury will have a go at, whereas they are less likely to have a go at just the core funding for schools. So I'm not arguing against schools could well do with some extra money for tech, maybe not as a special grant, though. Just a thought on sort of how money flows to schools. But as we're on the content.
Well, I was going to recognise the challenge, because we see time and time again that if schools are facing challenges with budgets, things like capital investment are generally things that kind of will be deprioritised, right? So thinking about your life cycles, your IT, and that kind of thing. So we do see that, and I really recognise it as a challenge, particularly as the climate becomes more tough for schools. It could be something we could get some experts together to run a session on, a webinar, something like that. That's obviously not offering additional grants, but I think in terms of ways schools are managing that, definitely take that on board. Thank you.
Okay, we've got time for a couple more, so just here first, I think. Lady in the red, yeah, thank you.
Hi there, good morning. Thank you for talking to us. Just a couple of things I wanted to say is we're very aware of budgets and how we can control them and the cost savings you're looking for. But it makes it really difficult at the moment when we've got no idea what our gag funding is going to be. And we're going to have to make these decisions really quickly. Part of my remit today is to find out what everybody else is using in their budgets, because we just don't know what the gap's going to be. And if you're going to lay off staff or cut other services, we need to know, and we need to make those decisions. So, you know, could you perhaps look at that cycle? And also the other thing is I don't know how that's going to lie, is a gentleman at the back alluded to why aren't we more in line with the private sector? And if you look at the cost of pensions, and I think one of the gentlemen up there said graduates aren't bothered about pensions. Well, I'm very bothered about pensions, but we're actually paying about, with the employees' contribution, about 40% of their pay is pension. And, you know, some youngsters, they want the pay now and the pension later, and they don't realise the value of that, but perhaps, you know, you need to look at that.
So I think we've got a question for Nabil and a question for you, Tom.
You're looking at me, I'll go first.
You go first, that's okay.
Fine. You know, I very much take the point you're making about the timing on when you know what your budget is, how quickly that has to go. As I say, we are going to see if there is more information we can provide to give a better forward look as to where budgets are likely to go. But there are some just sort of intrinsic difficulties. You know, we want to use the October census in order to determine schools' budgets for the next year. Well, they take, you know, there's an amount of time it takes them to crank the handle as to what the local formula is, how that plays out for an individual school. If we want to bring that forward, the question becomes: do we use data that's another year out of date to determine schools' budgets? It's an intrinsic tension in the system. You know, we make a particular compromise. We're always up for considering: are we making the right compromise, or would it be placed better elsewhere? More certainty, less responsiveness to the latest situation.
Thanks, Tom. And Nabil, on the pension question.
Yeah, no, on the pensions, I think I completely agree with what you said. Both there's a very good offer, and getting complete recognition of that, and there's a financial pressure for all of you in providing that pension. And I think we're really trying quite hard, first the selling point of that how good an offer that is, and actually and bring that in the same discussion as pay itself. I think that's one of our, so far, probably a bit of our failure, if I'm totally honest. And recognize that, I mean, the last government pushed out quite a bit, we're pushing again. This government, we're really trying to see what we can do. We have this massive marketing campaign in teaching, really push that forward as well. We are also in discussions. We actually had this, and we weren't very successful, and you will understand the reasons, about, especially for new graduate, whether we do offer funding up front in some pension contributions, and there was lots of discussion about it. As you can imagine, it's very complicated, tied, and obviously reduces money for the Treasury itself. So that discussion, it didn't get far initially, but we are looking at, are there alternates, at least for those early in their career, to a very generous pension contribution, but we know that has obviously negative impacts down the line that they don't quite grasp, and also direct implication of funding available to Treasury from the pension contributions. It's not gone very far, it's not dead yet, that conversation, and we definitely will be, if it goes further, we'll definitely be consulting you guys, this community, on that.
Thanks, Nabil. We'll take one more question, and then we need to close. Just over here on the left-hand side, please.
Hi, thank you. I work across two schools. One's a single academy trust and one is a maintained special needs school in the same local authority. What more could be done to manage local authorities holding significant reserves in SEND funding and not distributing that to schools and academies within their authority? And what more support can be done to manage differentiation in the payment systems to maintain schools and academies? For example, our SEN funding for children is paid termly in arrears and paid probably half a term later than the maintained sector in the same local authority. And just a little bit more transparency really around distribution of £10 million worth of reserves, SEN funding, that's sat there for the last few years, and schools obviously in significant need.
Tom, do you want to take that?
I am surprised to hear of a local authority which is sitting on reserves in terms of higher education, high needs funding. You know, the great majority of local authorities are not sitting on any reserves. They are spending more than their income each year and have built up deficits, which is frankly putting local authority overall financial sustainability in some question. So it'd be interesting to know. I'll pick up with you afterwards which local authority it is. In terms of treating academies, maintained schools the same, I mean, that would be our expectation. Again, I've not particularly heard that of such differences as being widespread, but I will take that back to see and make sure that our guidance is crystal clear that on matters high needs, there should be no difference at all in terms of the treatment that a local authority has to its maintained schools vis-a-vis academies in the area. Yeah, surprised to hear that. So that's really interesting. Thank you.
Okay, well, look, thank you very much for your engagement. Thanks, panellists, for your candour. Thank you for participating in this session, and I'll hand back to Charlie. Thank you.
Well, look, I want to add my appreciation to Stephen, to Susan, Nabil, Tom and Gavin. Thank you very much for taking questions so openly. I hope you found that informative. We find it very helpful. Just even hearing the questions and what the topics you're raising gives us a really good insight into sort of the most important challenges and things on your mind. So don't underestimate how helpful it is to us to hear the sorts of things that you're asking. And this is why today is so valuable for us. So do take the opportunity to speak to us as the day goes on. I'm sorry we couldn't get through all the questions, but we have plenty of time today. We're going to have some time for some networking, some refreshments. See the stands now. Only exception is if you registered for the SEN workshop, try and grab your coffee quickly and go straight to floor 2 in the Albert room, because that's kicking off straight away. But otherwise, you've got half an hour for some networking and some refreshments.